Craig Maxwell wants his story, his legacy, and this interview to demonstrate the power of resilience. Of fighting back, of not giving up, of raging against the dying of the light, as he bravely, openly, and honestly discusses his brutal terminal cancer diagnosis. Every word spoken by the Chief Commercial Officer of the Six Nations is as inspiring as it is heartbreaking. I was told at the start of July I have between 10 and 18 months left, says Maxwell, who is just 41. I am scared. I'm scared about the things I won't be able to influence. I am getting all my affairs in order and arranging and paying for my own funeral. I want everything done so my wife doesn't have to worry about anything. All she'll have to do is wake up and worry about herself and the kids. We're taking them to Disneyland Paris, but I've got no desire for lots of big trips. I just want to cuddle my kids, watch movies with them on the sofa, and have adult conversations with them about life, what I've learned, and what's important. I'll tell them it's going to be okay. I want to set him up for the future even though I won't be there. That's my dream. My big driver is I want my kids to see there are a few important things in life. It's about family and friends. It's important not to be defeated. When we told my children I had terminal cancer, the first thing my daughter said was, "Daddy, I know you'll do everything to fight this." I'm so proud of you. It made me the proudest man ever. I want to show our children that even in the face of adversity you can, and will, pick yourself up and make a difference. Maxwell, who has been a key figure in Northern Hemisphere rugby for the last decade, is certainly doing that. Faced with limited time and in a situation where it would be easy to crumble and give up, he is using his unenviable position as a force for good. Through a series of epic challenges, he is defying illness and attempting to raise £300,000 to support the Quitch DNA project, which aims to shorten the time it takes to diagnose lung cancer in patients in Wales. He has already raised £260,000 by running the London Marathon in April and completing a bike ride from Cardiff to Tenby, where he was educated. Even though his cancer has now grown resistant to osimertinib, the drug he has been taking since last year, Maxwell will on Monday be part of another bike ride from Cardiff to Paris, which aims to raise more much-needed money. You never think you are going to hear the words "you have incurable cancer." They were said to me just after 2 o'clock on September 8 last year, Maxwell says. Being 40 at the time with 2 young children, it's something you never think will happen. The whole perspective of your life changes. Born in Pembrokeshire, Maxwell has had a remarkable career in rugby. In 2004, he approached the Welsh Rugby Union and offered to work for them for free to prove his worth. He was soon hired, and then after a stint with Under Armour, Maxwell returned to the WRU to become their commercial director. He doubled Welsh rugby's revenues and was at the centre of its corridors of power during one of the organisation's most successful periods. In 2020, Maxwell joined the Six Nations, but just over a year later, he began to feel unwell. It was the start of a long, painful and stressful journey which culminated with the worst possible news. My dream was to one day be WRU chief executive, Maxwell says. I think I was on the right path before all this, but it won't be happening now. It was summer 2021 when Maxwell suspected something was wrong. He felt lethargic, and in the months that followed, he was breathless, developed a cough, and had chest pains. I should have gone and got checked out earlier, Maxwell says. We are all busy and sometimes neglect small changes in our health. I urge everyone to get checked as soon as possible if they suspect anything is wrong. In June 2022, doctors found an 8-centimeter tumor in his left lung, but it took 72 days for the official diagnosis to come back as cancer. The crushing news rocked Maxwell and his family. The double whammy was finding out I had epidermal growth factor receptor, EGFR, lung cancer, which was bad enough, but also finding out straight away it was terminal, incurable and inoperable as it had spread to my bones, Maxwell says. I was on palliative care straight away. My wife Tracy and I had been ushered into quite a tiny room. I'd seen in movies when they tell people they have cancer and they don't do it in a tiny little broom cupboard. I was thinking it wasn't bad news because I didn't think they would do that in a little cupboard on a ward. Unfortunately, I was wrong. Approximately 39,000 people are diagnosed with lung cancer each year in the UK. Around 15% of those have EGFR mutations, which are more common in women than men and in people who have never smoked or have been light smokers. Maxwell's life, and that of his nearest and dearest, changed immediately and forever that September day. He and Tracy have 2 young children, Isla, 12, and Zach, who is 8. The important things are friends and family. Everything else pales into insignificance, Maxwell says. My line has always been, I want to do this with class. I want to be strong for other people. There have been times where it's been hard and I haven't done that. I worry sometimes if I'm not accepting it. I do have moments when I think I'm okay. I also have really dark moments, but I know how to deal with them now. I take myself off on the bike. I'm sure people have seen me cycling or running round Penarth crying. When I am training I feel like I'm beating cancer and I say to myself that it picked the wrong body when it picked on me. But it will win its battles more in the future, and that will be a real test of me staying strong. As we talk over what was supposed to be lunch in Penarth just outside Cardiff, it becomes apparent our order has been forgotten. Something which might have previously been a cause of irritation or frustration now matters little to Maxwell. There are far more important matters. It's our 9-year wedding anniversary today, Maxwell reveals when we meet. Tracy and I decided not to celebrate it as I don't want this to be our last. Our aim is to celebrate 10 years next year. Our relationship has never been stronger. Telling the children was absolutely horrific. It ripped my heart out. I don't think any parent should ever have to do that. Our children don't deserve the pain that's going to come with this. It's unfair. Before we start this interview, Maxwell reiterates he wants to speak openly and honestly about his cancer experience, however painful it proves, in a bid to help others. Nothing is off the table. Tough questions are asked. For the last 8 months or so, osimertinib has allowed Maxwell to continue to work for the Six Nations, live a normal life with his family, and undertake some heroic fundraising challenges. The cruelty of lung cancer, known as the silent killer, is that it does untold damage below the surface. Symptoms can be few and far between, and then all of a sudden, it's too late. Maxwell does not look ill. In recent months, he has led on the signing off of significant new Six Nations broadcast and commercial deals. He has always worked hard, but now, with his cancer growing resistant to the drugs, he will step back from rugby in the coming weeks to spend more time with Tracy, Isla and Zach. Maxwell will begin chemotherapy treatment in August. He hopes contributing to the Quitch DNA project will be his biggest legacy. It took 72 days with loads of biopsies, tests and trips to hospital to work out my illness, Maxwell explains. Those 72 days were the hardest. My mental health was gone completely. The uncertainty was the worst thing. The Quitch DNA project is a pilot which uses blood tests or liquid biopsies instead of needle biopsies to help detect incurable cancer earlier. There has already been millions of pounds raised to support it, and we want to prove it works. Lung cancer is the biggest killer in Wales. It kills more than the next 2 cancers combined. The average wait to get a needle biopsy test is 62 days. Within that time, a lot of patients get very ill, which means they don't respond to certain treatments. In some cases, they pass away. Dropping that time from 62 days to hopefully 30 will make a massive difference in terms of length of life and treatments patients can receive. The pilot is underway and this funding helps deliver it. If the doctors can prove it works, then in time it can be rolled out across all of Wales. The way I'm built is I want to have a purpose.